That was cool. If you do that one more time, the beginning of the podcast is just going to be that evil maniacal laugh.
My mental retardedness is. Are you allowed to say that these days?
Yeah,
Is
we say mental
finally.
retarded all the time. We have a
You can.
president that's
By the
mentally
way,
retarded.
you're allowed to say things depending on what sort of like from year to year. So we're either very woke or very anti-woke or very woke
Yes.
or anti-woke, and the world will find its balance eventually. We've had this
Yeah.
conversation on one of your other shows. My recollection
Yes, we have.
is
In fact, next week we're going to have you and I and Brown Car Guy and Vicky are going to talk UFOs on Sermon from the German.
the brown car guy is going to talk UFOs.
Hey, talk,
The
can I tell
cigar,
you something? For
yeah.
the cigar guy. Here's the funny thing. About
Yeah.
a year and a half ago, we did a show about UFOs with the Brown Car Guy, Sermon from the German.
Mm-hmm.
It is the #3 overall downloaded podcast, not YouTube viewed, but podcast on our podcast. And we have over 600 shows out on podcast. It is the #3 downloaded show.
Number 3. That's
Yeah,
not
go
good. It should
figure.
be number 1.
Well, no, #1 is a show that Adam did on.
I'm repeating
I'm
my father's words. If I ever came
Hmm.
home and said I came second or third, there was just massive disappointment in the air.
Can I tell you when I used to come and when I said that to my girlfriend, I just came second or third. She'd be like, "Well, try harder." And
Or
there you
third.
go.
Oh, I see. I
Yes,
see. I see. We fill in the blanks there. I'm sure
there
you
you go.
did.
Yes, I'm here till Thursday. Tip your wait staff, kids. Try the veal. So anyway,
I don't know what I'm smoking. I'm smoking
what are you smoking? Oh, a Bolivar. Let's get a
Bolly.
close up of the bowl.
Now, this is a
Look
very
at.
aged Bolly. As you can
He looks
see,
like it. He
it's
looks like he's
kind of
growing gray hair.
it's beginning to
Yeah.
disintegrate. I hope this stays the course. I have a feeling this will smoke fast because very, very dry. Very
Gotcha.
dry. Very,
All
very
right.
dry.
Looks like a
But
100-year-old Jewish guy, but it's good. And I'm going to smoke my usual CAO Brazilian Amazon because Daddy needed a big smoke today. And I was going to go with the Davidoff Churchill, but I was like, that's like a 45-minute smoke. I need like an hour, hour and a half. So the CAO fills that. And I'm sorry, it's not Cuban because some of us don't live in London and can get Cubans all the time. Just saying. But when I invade Cuba and become the Cuban cigar czar for America, then I can get Cubans.
talk of Cubans,
Uh-oh.
interesting. I'm going to show you an interesting band, which is not really a
Okay.
band, but it's a clue to stuff that's going on my social media.
Right,
I
which
wonder if
we
you can see
repost
what
on
this.
ours.
If you can see what this is. This is. What's it say?
Habano #1.
Okay, and then we have another band.
Does it say Habano #2? I'm very excited you're
No,
learning it
no,
down.
no. It says.
#2. #2 is this okay?
So the
And
tease there is that
hmm,
maybe 2-3 nights ago, I was at a challenge. Okay, now
oh yeah, we
sort of a
talked about that last
competition.
week.
Yeah, sort of a
Yeah,
competition. But it wasn't a competition of people. It's
right.
basically the cigar was the competition in the sense
Okay.
that so it's the Robusto challenge held by
Right.
the oldest, and the only importers of Cuban cigars into the UK was held by Hunters and Frankau. I was there as their guests. I'm giving them a shout out to Jimmy and Sean, who very kindly hosted me, and Dan as
Right.
well. Can only say lovely things about them because they're lovely people.
And the check
Some of
cleared
them,
yesterday.
they have questionable humor, but that's
That's right.
by the by, right?
There you go.
So this is a smoke off. This is a smoke off if you feel like, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're going to have maybe 3 or 4 heats. I think 4 heats, a couple of semifinals, and a final.
Right.
A bit like when the tennis elimination, it's elimination style. Okay, so
Right.
we got to smoke. There's about 30 people there, and we got to smoke 2 Robusto size cigars. Now Robusto, if the Alzheimer's can be abated for 2 seconds, is
Good luck with
basically
that.
a 50 ring gauge, 4 7/8 inch cigar. I can't
Oh,
understand the imperial system when it comes to the inches and the centimeters. I think that's
right,
a
right,
very
right.
European thing, but it's technically a 4 7/8 inch cigar, Robusto size, kind of that length, although this is not the same ring gauge.
Right.
And we blind smoke these cigars without knowing what they are. And these are standard production. These are not aged cigars.
Right.
These are not regional editions or edition limitadas or anything like that.
Okay.
So we blind smoked them. and uh, those bands relate to that evening. We had to see what we preferred. At the end of the day, it was all about which one we preferred. And the cigar that was the favorite cigar of the evening will then go on to the next round, if you know what I mean. Where
Okay. Sure, sure.
they've got sort of eight um robustos in
Right.
different bands. So there's a Romeo y Julieta short Churchill, there's a Bolivar, there is a Montecristo, there is a etc etc etc,
Sure.
and by process of elimination through these heats you'll whittle it down to your favorite branded robusto.
Okay.
And that's what that was a quite an evening, quite a fun evening. In fact, it spilled over into another event. A friend of mine, Zhao, and I, we disappeared off with some of these robustos to
Mm-hmm.
see AJ Patel, the
Oh, Mr.
stalwart
AJ.
one. Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. And the son of a gun nailed it. Between him and his daughter, they nailed the cigars.
Well,
And
they're
it
real
was
cigar
it
people.
was very entertaining because we sat there for about in his own shop.
Hmm.
We took them there at number 6 Cavendish. And
Let me pick that up for you. Okay, go ahead. So,
no, so I wanted them to nail it, but there was this
all right.
great anticipation as to, are they going to nail it? Are they not going to nail
And
it?
they
I
did.
mean, right. So it's like seeing, it's seeing your favorite Lamborghini test driver drive a Lamborghini around the track at a
Right.
million miles per. You know, it's that kind of
Yeah.
feeling. You know
Sure.
what I
Can
mean?
we use
Like,
a
or
better car
sitting
than a
on Top Gear.
Lamborghini? Can we use a
Sorry.
better car than Lamborghini though? Because Lamborghini is just saying.
Well, I don't want to speak about Ferrari. Ferrari's mythic. Lamborghini is
Oh.
legendary. Mythic and legendary. Do you like the
I
differentiation
do. I
there?
will tell you. I'll tell you something about the new V12 Ferrari that just came out. I was reading some stuff on it, and I've seen it, and they said this is the closest Ferrari they've made since Enzo died that Enzo would approve of. And I've seen it, and I don't know if I agree with it, but it's a phenomenal car. So I would rather
I
see my favorite Ferrari driver. I'll just saying,
wait, now you've said Ferrari 2 or 3 times. Can I light up?
please, Ferrari, 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 Ferrari. So
Do you want to
and
capture that
Ferrari. Do I want to capture that? How would you like me to capture that?
on video? Zoom in.
Excuse me. Let me zoom in for the fans here. There we go. Look at that, everybody.
There's a light
He's
up
got
going on.
he's got his ST DuPont for you people on the podcast. I'm downing a Macallan 25, and he's got a double flame because he's special. He rides a bus, and now he's smoking. And later he'll be getting his putter out, and he's going to go for the 30-foot birdie. There
Oh,
you go,
that's
Adam. There
filthy.
he is.
That's an old. When I say filthy, I said it as a compliment, right? Like when they use bad as good. He's
Yeah, yeah.
bad, man.
That's
That's
bad. Yeah,
filthy. That's an old school. Those leaves have been dead and buried and recycled and back to life
yeah.
again.
Well, just like my ex-wife. Anyway, so let me. Usman says, "Afternoon, gents. Afternoon, Usman." And Riza is waxing lyrical about his cigar off, and he's either frozen or dead now. I'm not sure which one. Ah, there he is. Okay,
I can't see.
and back. I can see. I can see. I'll just read the comments from the fans. The fans are flooding in now because they missed you. They want to hear all about this, and soon. Our sommelier will show up late, like usual, and he will give us the history of a cigar,
Well, then it's not
which
late. Then that's on time.
for him it is
Yes,
Pakistani time.
the precedence has been set. I always
Yeah.
like that expression. The precedence has been set. I thought it had something to do with presidents, but it's actually
Mm,
precedence,
hmm.
precedence,
It's the precedence. And so
precedence.
here we, yes, the precedence. And
Mm.
here we are. So what else happened this week? You smoked with a friend of ours from Miami. Can we talk about that? Can we just talk
Yes,
about,
and you got his
let's
name
talk.
wrong. You got his religion
I
wrong.
didn't
You
get
got
anything
his
wrong. You told me his name was
origins
Reuben.
wrong. You got every
Well, please,
single fucking thing wrong.
listen,
Now I
he
don't
didn't
say
look
that. I don't
Jewish.
say that to criticize you because
Right.
because I have far too much respect for you, Stephen.
Right.
I
You're
say
like, here's your hat. Where's your hurry? Okay.
I say this in a competitive spirit, in the sense I
Yeah,
got
I
to the
got it.
truth first, right? Right. So
That's fine.
Ruben
It's,
is
it's not
not Jewish,
right.
okay?
He's right,
Right.
which was,
Despite the
can I
fact that
tell
Ruben,
you?
you said Ruben is about the most Jewish name there is
It
out
is the
there.
most Jewish name in the world, but he's not really called Reuben. He
Okay.
is called,
Okay. So he explained that the spelling of his name. So Ruben, let me just say, I'll say his name incorrectly, and I'll say it at the end properly, right? So Ruben was in London for 2 days. Came to London for 2 days. from Fort Lauderdale, right? And Usman's waxing lyrical that he came for 2 days to Cuba. Cuba's next door.
Yeah.
London is
Big deal.
fucking
Cuba's
further away.
90
Yeah.
minutes away. Yeah, nobody
Yeah,
cares.
right. So it was a
Yeah.
competition. There's Usman in the Havana special shirt that made its debut in Havana, and people wondering, and is this Arabic poetry? Is this Arabic scripture? What is it?
Right. Hello, everyone. Hello, boys.
Ladies.
Right. So now you want to know what's written on here?
What is written
No,
on
we
there?
just
Everyone's curious.
yeah.
Right.
Oh my God, the world's a flutter. There's the balloons.
I can see the balloons here. Oh, where is that? Now it's fixed. Right.
Okay.
Sorry, my OCD. Right. So okay. So this is a shirt by a local brand called Manto, who was a famous writer of his own times, not very conventionalist, and even put behind bars many times because of his radical ideas. But he was one of those who encourages people to think and all of that. And the shirt has a poem written on it, and the
Yes,
poem
but
and the poem written is of the great poet Sufi and the one who imaginated or who gave the idea of Pakistan, Sir Dr. Allama Iqbal. So this is a poem by him, and it's written in Urdu, and yeah, so it's something which
Urdu script. It's Urdu
yes,
script. Okay.
yes, it's Urdu script.
Very nice. I have a poem, but I can't say it because the fans will blush, and so will I. But roses are red and violets are blue. And hold on one second while we start the show.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
Oh, not again.
Welcome to Habanos Saturday, the fastest growing cigar show on YouTube with over 100,000 subscribers. Come join us every Saturday live. Every Saturday live.
Now we're back. And by the way, we do have a fan, and I keep pronouncing his name wrong in the comments.
His name's Qasim.
How's it? What is it?
Qasim.
Qasim?
The way that it's written, Stephen.
It's not my fault. You write the funny name. It looks like Usman to me.
It's a
but
funny
Qasim,
name.
my
It's
cousin.
very standard. It's a very
Lol.
standard name
Qasim
from
Hussain,
our
afternoon,
neighborhood.
Jan. Stephen always calls me Usman. Lol.
Yeah. I always feel bad that I do that, but okay, Qasmin.
Because
Qasmin,
I'll
I
tell
got
you
your
why.
name
I'll
right.
tell you why. Because Usman's branding is very strong. It's
That's
brand
why.
recognition.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So thinking that it's a cigar show, what are you guys smoking?
We were. He's got a Bolivia that's very old and dirty,
It's a
apparently.
Bolivia.
A Bolivar.
All right. Yes, it's a Bolivar. I mean, but knowing
Bolivar.
him, he can
And,
call whatever. And
and I've got his.
you're the old faithful.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So
Okay, wait a minute. And wait a minute. We have two things. Cigarland says hello. And my friend Qasmin, I got his name right this time, or I massacred it. He wants to know what Riza is drinking. He's drinking the blood of small 3-year-old children, disguised as a. What are you drinking?
Actually, I was doing my groceries about an hour ago, right? I saw this and I thought it would be good to drink on the show. This is one of my favorite ginger beers. Bundaberg. Comes in a bottle. Australian ginger beer has a deep, rich, gingery taste.
Sure. Because that's the blood of the 3-year-olds. Anyway, they were all gingers. All little ginger kids that couldn't make it in Australia. Got eaten by an alligator or a dingo, because the dingo took my baby. All right, kids. So here we are. So you were telling the story about Reuben before Usman came in. So finish the story, because Reuben.
He asked, I basically told Stephen that Stephen, I got a bit competitive with Stephen. I'm not normally a competitive or controversial person, but Stephen got me going. Stephen said that Reuben he couldn't get more Jewish than Reuben as a name.
Right.
Okay. So I was lucky enough, and the other competitive thing is that I said that Usman was waxing lyrical about the fact that Reuben flew for 2 days from Fort Lauderdale to come and see him in Cuba. This man came 2 days to London. I mean, all the way to London for a couple of days. Wow, that's really cool. Yeah. Like not even 3 days, like 2 days, like one night or 2 nights maybe.
Just to touch the legend. Let me see
Anyway,
what he
he was
touched him.
telling me that his name is the when you
His
spell
name?
it IN, it's actually he's from Puerto Rico, and he grew up in New York, so he's a bit like you, Stephen, as a New York boy, right? But it's actually
Yep.
pronounced Reven, which is like a
Sure.
very sort of like
Yeah.
Scarface kind of name,
Yeah.
Scarface villain, Reven. But Stephen was asking me about that, so I thought I would fill in the
Yeah.
details.
But let me just say this. Let's just, he's still a Puerto Rican Jew. I don't care. All right. You put an
In
I
your
at the end of
mind.
his name. He can be whatever he wants. Listen, your name is Ruben. It's nice because when we see him in Miami, he's got the Star of David. He's hanging out at the shul. He's eating bagels and lox.
I've got a bit
And
of a star
then
going on here as well.
I see that with your little pocket square.
Gold with gold.
Yeah, very nice. I'm just saying. Look at you. You're dressing for the show. You have no pants
I'm
on,
not
but you're
dressing for the
dressing for the
show.
show.
It's just that I think I was wearing this jacket last time. I thought in order to differentiate the episodes, I would wear a handkerchief.
Nice. Yeah.
Pocket square.
Wow.
I put on this jacket and I thought, did I wear this one? Because I like to differentiate it so that you can,
Yeah.
from show to show to
How
show.
thoughtful of you. How thoughtful of you.
I did it for the quality of the show.
Here we
Right.
go. So the nice thing is next week I'm going to do the show naked, and that I can remember what I wear. So I'm just saying that should
Cover the
get us at
nipples
least with some clamps and everything. Oh, that'd be great. It's a whole nother show. Anyway, it's glad to have everybody here. Now we can officially start the show, even though we've been on for about 20 minutes because I don't want to say anything, but the Salmon A guy's always late. And now
It is actually 1 p.m. London time now and 5 p.m.
Mhm.
my time now. So I was
Mhm.
very much on time.
Can I say we purposely start early just in case you run late that the fans have filler. So there you go.
No.
All
Right. So, okay, he's back. Right. So for me today, the cigar is
The nub.
Sansa.
Very nice. That's our Habanos history today, by
What
the
is
way.
it? Exclusivo
Grecia. Greco.
Greek edition.
Yes, sir. It's a Greek edition, Sancho Panza, and named as Chypre or something like that. I'm
Cyprus.
bad.
So it's Greek Cypriot.
Yes. So I'm uh, bad at pronouncing the name on
So
the screen.
actually, it's not the Greek edition. It's the Cypriot edition, but it's the Cypriot Greek edition as opposed to the Cypriot Turkish edition.
Okay, sir.
No, that's what
Wow.
it is. That's what it is.
Yeah,
It's the
he's telling
Cyprus edition.
And we're not at
Right.
war with them, so we're okay.
Yeah.
So is that going to be your history? Let me know when you want to start your history because we're the fans are on the edge of their seats for this. The history,
Oh.
Habanos history. No, I'm just saying that. But,
Right. So I can start, but I would like to light up my cigar first. Would you be
okay,
okay?
light up your cigar, and we'll wax real.
Toast
So
it, toast it,
Ruben,
toast it.
or however you pronounce the Jewish guy's name who thinks he's Puerto Rican, flies in for.
Why don't you drop him a
lighting.
message? Drop him a message.
Yeah.
Says stop
And say what?
hiding behind this Puerto Rican identity.
He watches the show. He's hearing it. I'm sure at some point. I'm sure I'm going to get a comment. So, or you will. So, but that's very cool. Yes, but all these people come and they go to London to meet the master, and they sit with him
and
they get
then
to smoke
later on
with
they
him.
come and see me.
I was just going to say that's very true. And then they sit with Riza and they smoke with Riza. And I don't think the $10,000 fee to smoke with him is expensive. So if you'd like to, no, I'm just kidding. So, but anyway, so yes, they all come in to
I'm
meet
cheap.
Riza. Yeah, well, let's just say you're inexpensive. So,
Well, that reminds me, Stephen. Do you know there's an OnlyFans account of Raza?
really?
Well, of course, that's
Wow.
what he. But the only thing is, in his OnlyFans, what it does is you have to pay just to have these jokes cracked at you.
So it's like a
and
Don
since
Rickles
last-
thing.
Well, no,
Okay.
but since last week Usman's meeting telling me how to behave and what I should say and not say.
Oh God.
So I've forced myself. It's really hard work. Actually, I've taken a lesson from Usman.
Yes.
I made a decision yesterday to be nice to everyone. And Usman,
That's
this is what I was
disgusting.
telling Stephen. I was walking around the grocery store earlier on today. I was trying to be nice, and it physically hurt the back of my mouth to smile because those muscles haven't been used before. But you were right.
Oh,
I have turned over a new leaf. I only say nice
Okay.
things about
Excuse me.
people now.
Really?
I'm really.
I've become a true
Pussy.
Rich. Rich.
Not
Rich.
very nice
What?
person.
You coming pussy? Is that what you're saying?
No, no, no. I've been nice.
Yeah.
I
No, no.
I haven't ripped anyone on this show.
Really? Really? If I could record our conversation last
Well,
night,
well, Steve,
I beg to differ.
basically, what he's trying to say is he hasn't ripped off anyone yet.
Oh, it
It's
won't
early
happen.
yet.
It
It's
won't
only
happen.
1 o'clock. Give him some
I've
time.
turned over a new leaf. I made a decision. I was sitting in the sun yesterday smoking a Polaranaga 47, Reino
Yeah.
Unido. I was sitting in the sun in North London, and I had this kind of epiphany moment where the sun hit me in the right way. And I
Yeah.
thought, right, I'm now going to be nice.
I think I just threw up in my pants. So
And there's probably some great medication for that. Let me Google it. I will check it for you and see if I
if you
can
would.
get it.
Osman, I don't want to be rude or anything while you're, doing selfies for your Instagram account, but we are doing a live show where the fans are watching. Would you like to
Really?
engage? Yeah.
Actually, Raza was just going on and on, so I was like, okay, fine.
I'm sorry.
I will only accept what he said when I see it in action. There's a huge controversy that's gonna happen after this, so I'm not gonna listen to any of the things that he's saying. So I'm
Oh,
gonna
God.
leave once it happens.
So there's three of us. So what do we have? Speak no evil, hear no evil, say no evil. Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah. Right. So,
So wait. Are you going to start? You're going to do your Habana history?
I'm thinking of doing it, but before that, I was going to tell that this is a present from a friend from Greece.
Mhm.
And we finally met at the Habanos Festival. And Evangelos, his handle is VGK Cigar Aficionado, and one of those very few, very, very, very smiling, jolly, happy people that I met were from Greece, and the gang, four of them. And he gave me as one of those from his own region. So I thought, why not? I should light it up now.
There you go. So there were four of them. That explains a lot why they were happy. Anyway, go ahead. So.
Right. So the history.
Wait, are you starting?
Today,
Hold on. Wait, whoa. We're a professional show. Hold on a minute. Here we go.
What is this?
There you go.
Well, the thing is, you asked me the name for the cigar which I was going to talk about, and it still says Ramon Yones. Oh my
That's
God.
because Rizza has to redo the graphics. But anyway, go ahead. That's your intro.
Okay. Then. Right. So Sancho Panza is the brand I'm going to talk about today. A brand that was created in 1848 by Don Emilio Olmsted. If you recall this name from the last time's history, he is the same man who created El Rey del Mundo, King of the World. So this cigar, the Sancho Panza, initially came into existence in 1848. And then from 1848, it was existent till almost 1898, where it had changed hands a few times and all of that. It was not very popular brand at that time, and it was like a small kind of a thing. But then in 1900s, it was reestablished, and it changed hands again few times before 1930, when it was again taken over by the El Rey del Mundo company. And that's when this brand started to flourish. In the 40s, 50s, 60s, the brand was doing great, and then ultimately taken over by Habanos S.A. Now, in Habanos S.A. portfolio, this is categorized as the other brands in their portfolio brands category. Fun fact, the only cigar in production of Sancho Panza as of now is Sancho Panza Bellicoso, which is the regular production, and there is no other Vitola in the Sancho Panza that exists for now. It, however, gets a few regional editions here and there that pop up after a few years. And this particular regional edition that I'm smoking is originally from the year 2020, which was ultimately released in 2022, if I'm not wrong. People who have had the pleasure of smoking Sancho Panza, they know it's a light to medium body kind of a cigar. One of the very, very sought after cigars in this category or in this brand is the discontinued Sancho Panza Sanchos, which is the Gran Corona size or the size which is similar to Montecristo A, which is the only regular production cigars today in the Habanos portfolio. So before the discontinuation of that, there were two, one being Sancho Panza Sanchos and the other being Montecristo A. Now it is the only one left in the Habanos portfolio. So with that, I would hand it over to both of you, and I would imagine and think that now that the history would end, Raza will not disappear like he has been disappearing in the last 5 minutes.
All right, we're back. We're waiting for Rizza to magically appear. He's probably in the loo.
You
So
can
there
hope.
he is. He's
You
back
can
from the
hope.
loo.
You can hope.
You
I think you had
can
some
hope.
technical difficulties because it kept switching from this to this
Yeah.
to this to this.
Yeah, well, that's okay. That's it.
What kept switching?
No,
Raza?
it's
Well, basically, you had normally when Stephen does the focus in, it's just you in the frame, but
Right.
intermittently we were appearing, and I can't work out why we were appearing.
Well, actually, he was checking on if you're really there still or you just abandoned it. That's it.
I'm going
It was.
to
It
make sure
was.
you were alive.
No,
See,
I
the
despite
most important person had to be
common
ensured.
consensus, I wanted you to have your flow for your segment.
Right,
And we
right.
don't, if you notice, we don't interrupt you during your cigar history anymore, which is kudos to us. That's because that check cleared. So now we did need a fan the other day.
I exactly know the cheeky reason for that, but okay, I'll let it go for now.
Okay,
Because
thank you.
that makes a great short afterwards if you don't disturb.
Yes, I know, right? Now, I will say this: I did run into a fan the other day, and
Alright.
and then I ran into
Hospitalized?
hospitalized. They're better now. We're going to visit them later. Nunzio and Rocco are going to help them find a window. But the fan said, and I thought this was interesting. So this is the challenge for both of you for next Saturday, that they said they would like to see Habanos history done by both of you, and have the fans vote on
Well, I know fuck all
who's.
about history of cigars.
Yeah, but they want to
The
see you
reason I
both.
suggested that Usman do it is so that I can educate myself through someone else
Well, now they want you
who
both
does
to
the
do it.
hard work and gives me the shortcut to.
I am very happy about this
Are
because
you?
this way there'll be one person doing a history seriously and
Right.
with some form of historical background, whereas
Right.
someone else will bring in their unique, quirky, witty character into the whole thing, and it will actually be much more liked by a lot of people.
No,
Purely
but
Ooh.
that's over. That's over. I'm now just going to be nice and
Oh God.
buttery and mellow and
I
complimentary.
can bet you cannot do that for 1 hour complete
It's
in this
very difficult. I
way.
have to say that it is very difficult because it physically hurts. As I said, there are muscles that haven't been used before, mental muscles, physical muscles. It hasn't been done before. But the aim is to make an effort.
Why?
And I think that's all we can do in life
No.
is to make
Why?
an effort, get
To be
better,
nice. Why?
recover from this mental health illness
No. Why?
of
Once
calling a
again,
spade a spade.
why? Well, a
Uh-huh.
spade is good. I've been calling a spade for 1 billion years. Why am I going to
There's a
change
time and
now?
place. There's a time
No,
and
there's
place.
not. Every time is the place.
There you
No.
go.
This is the problem with a
Well,
society
as I say,
today.
this is a complicated process. This is
There
another
we go.
journey
Right.
that we're embarking upon.
Very
There
God.
may be some stalls and dives, but this is a process of
What did you do
More
to
getting
me?
scotch.
What did you
nicer
do to
More,
me? What
towards
more
did
the
you
scotch.
just
fellow
me?
man.
Fill
And
my
I
scotch,
am
please.
very
The
proud to
bottle.
say, that Usman has started me on this journey. Let me declare, it is
Wow.
Usman has started me on this
Why
journey.
do I
No
feel
one
like I'm in a
else.
religious revival?
I have learned something from this man. I've learned something about cigars. I'm learning about cigar history, which is actually it's really cool. These cigar history, they get noticed by all sorts of people in the industry.
Can I say
This
something really
particular
quick
segment.
before you? Let me just interrupt. Ruben, our Puerto Rican Jew, He doesn't want to say that he's
just read it.
Jewish.
I just read it.
I don't really care. I know he's watching because he said walking in London with Riza is an adventure. So yes, my friend, it is an adventure.
Anything,
No,
doing,
but that's the old
doing
Reza.
anything,
No, but
doing,
Reven, that's the old Reza. That's the
Oh,
Reza.
stop it.
That's the Reza
doing
pre. There's
anything
the pre.
in.
You know, there's pre-revolutionary. There's pre-Osman Reza. There's post-Osman Reza.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But I love
okay.
you so much. You should really understand that is now part of my
Mantra.
mantra. What a word. What a word. My
Stephen,
mantra.
Stephen, see,
Yeah,
everyone has been saying the same thing.
which
Spending
is
time with Raza in whatever form and shape is an adventure of its own type.
I
Like
know.
we are just on an adventure
Talk
1
about
hour
side-winded insults.
on no,
It's just an adventure in itself.
no,
That's true.
We are just saying this 1 hour is also an adventure because we don't know if we are going to meet the nice Raza, the
No, I've
usual
declared,
Raza,
I've made a declaration. You're meeting the nice
AI,
one.
The AI Riza,
Raza,
right? Yeah,
right?
that's
So
Riza.
it's always an adventure.
Yeah.
Whether
Yesterday when we spoke on the phone, as I was driving and he was walking apparently up a hill. I didn't know there were any hills in London, but apparently
This
the
was a
one little
serious
meter
hill.
hill that he
This was
that
a serious hill.
there was a little meter that he walked up. It took him an hour to walk like, I don't know, 10 meters, and he was out of breath. But anyway, I got the real Riza, which was great. And then this morning
wow.
I had the real Riza. And then apparently when the show comes on, he takes whatever happy pill he takes, and then we have this Riza. And by the way, Ruben, who we love, or however you pronounce our Puerto Rican Jewish guy's name, until I bless it, he's still a Jew. I don't care what he says, and it's just the way it works. So
What a
Ruben,
cool
we love
dude.
you.
What a cool dude.
Yeah,
I don't know
you
if
told
Revan
me.
is listening. Yeah. What a
Yeah,
cool
he is.
dude.
He's there. He's talking to
No,
us
he
on
isn't.
the
You're just
chat.
making this stuff up.
Sure. Okay.
Where is he? I can't see him. Where is he?
Well, would you
On
like
the
me to
chat,
invite him on the show? On the chat.
If you actually look into the chat, you will see.
Yeah, you
Or
can see it.
You know what he enjoyed. You know what he enjoyed.
What?
We're walking from there's this place in Belgravia called, I think it's called Tom Tom. We were walking from Tom
God.
Tom in direction. We were
Yeah.
walking from, so we were connecting the dots. We walked from Tom Tom to
Right.
number 6 Cavendish. So we had a smoke in Tom Tom, and then we walked through Belgravia, through
Right.
Mayfair to number 6 Cavendish. Along the way, in Belgrave Square,
Yeah.
I said, I said to Reven, listen, you're walking with me. I'm going to show you some sights and sounds that other people aren't going to necessarily spot, right? Yeah.
Right.
So
Bravo.
I took him to a statue in Belgrave Square of Simon Bolívar.
Ooh.
Him,
That guy on your label.
this guy, right? There's a statue of him. And,
Okay.
and Reven said, what the fuck? What is this doing here? He took lots and lots of photos. Maybe I can even actually put up one of those photos.
If you send them to us, we'll get it. We can get it up.
I beg your pardon? Beg your
If
pardon?
you get it to us, we can get it. So,
I beg your pardon? Hang on,
we
let
can
me
get
see.
it.
If I can, there you go.
No, you have to send it to us. We'd have to post it. Oh, there you go. Oh, look at that.
There
The
you go.
background.
Can you see?
Excuse
Can you
me.
see? Because
Yeah.
that's
There you go.
Reven, his head chopped
Oh.
off, and there's a statue which you can't see.
Now,
And
wait,
there's
does Ruben not have a
the-
head? That would be an interest. You walked around with a guy with no head. All right. Very
There
nice.
you go. Hang on.
All right,
So
very good,
let's
very good.
see how I get back to normal again. I don't know how to get back to normal.
That's not happening anytime soon. So we're good. What happened to Uz? See, Usman's upset now, but that's okay. Usman, come back. He had to go to the loo. Anyway, so you walked around Belgravia
maybe he's talking to-
with our new favorite landsman, Ruben, who goes to London to have a cigar with you, and
Yeah, no,
you walked over to
he's a cool cat
Okay.
because again, on topic with the cigars, there's clearly something in cigars, right? There's clearly something in good cigars. There's clearly some good
Right.
Cuban cigars because Reven doesn't look a year over 45. He's 60 years old and he walks like
Really?
a teenager. Like it's sort of
Nice.
like runs away from you kind of thing, yeah.
There's a reason that he's running away from you.
So that's another good reason to smoke fine Cuban cigars. They de-age you slightly. In my case, very slightly. In Reven's case, a hell of a lot.
Right.
No,
What
in
about
your case,
Usman?
they have, in your case, they have impacted so much
He's
that
gone for
yes,
great.
maybe. Thank you very much. You did not let me to think a lot more and to say
No,
what
this
you said. Thank you very much.
This is the new nice. This is the new nice.
Oh my
thing.
God, I'm gonna throw up. Hey, now see for Usman, the scars don't really work. Usman's 12 years old, so he looks a little. I'm just saying he's aged a little with the Cuban cigars. So yeah,
I
it's
agree
one of
with
those
you. I
things.
agree with you.
Now, Usman in particular,
Yeah,
I would have liked to see how Usman fared on this, right? I was talking to Stephen about the Robusto challenge, the blind tasting Robusto challenge that happened a couple of days ago, 2 or 3 days ago in London, right? Yeah. It was a Hunters of Frankau thing. That was a ridiculously fun. It was a ridiculously fun event because it was full of physical conversation about the cigar, what it could be, what it might be, the flavor notes, the aroma notes, how you look at a cigar, how you look at the wrapper, how you look at the tightness of the wrapper, how
right.
how you feel on a dry draw. All those things, all those little pieces of science came into play when you're blind tasting. And I'm sure Usman would have enjoyed it. I was telling Stephen that we carried on the kind of event we kind of like spilled. It's sort of like the conviviality of cigars spills over. We took those cigars to number 6. We gave them to AJ and Rika, and those two, my goodness, between them, father and daughter, nailed one each,
Wow.
which was
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I wanted them to nail it, but it wasn't an easy process, and I think they were very excited by that as well. Well, actually, credit goes to Hunters and Frankau, goes to Jimmy and Sean for coming up with relatively simple, masterful event idea. It's a
Right.
very simple idea, really, but it has so much conversation and dialogue and enjoyment attached to it. That maybe that's an idea that can kind of like I don't know if it's been done before. I'm sure it has been, but they did it in a
Right.
very nice way. And was telling Stephen that what's happened, the reason they're doing this is they're trying to eliminate cigars, eliminate standard production Robustos to the one that's the most favorite in the UK market for
Hmm.
smokers. So 28 people smoked 2 cigars. One cigar was eliminated, and that cigar goes into the next round. Then in another heat, 2 other cigars, and then there'll be 2 semifinals and then a final, like football teams competing against
Oh,
each other.
nice.
And it's the football team that's going to be left standing at the end is going to be declared the favorite Robusto brand.
Right.
I like that. Now, so next time he does that, we should see if we can do it. We can record it live while it happens, and the fans can watch if you will, the match.
And Raza, in any case, please take the picture of both sides of the sheet next time.
You're lucky I took. You're lucky I took one side actually, because that wasn't when you asked me. I had already taken photos. The only reason
Stephen,
I took them. The only
Stephen,
reason I took
please,
them. Now I
please
understand
hold
why.
this
I
back.
understand why. But I suspect you've already seen those sheets in Cuba because they were the same format as the blind tasting sheets in Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we were
It
told.
would be the case, but I wasn't on any blind tasting activity or event in Cuba.
I can
So
get you a sheet. I can get you one of those sheets. They're sitting in TomTom right now.
cool. I'd love to have a look at it. One of them.
No,
You
he
can have a
wants
look at
it.
two of
He
them.
wants to frame it. Oh, he can frame it front and back.
They have become what's happened in the UK market for maybe last 6 months, about 6 months ago, because of the government pressure.
Right.
That this very, very sort of paternalistic way that government looks at smoking. I resent it big time, right? Yeah.
Right.
What's happened is Hunters and Frankau were put in a position where, so this is to do with sampling rooms and sampling lounges in the UK, the
Okay.
justification of sampling rooms and sampling lounges,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So as to justify the fact that the technicality is, if I'm sure there are people who are aware, but let me just say it one more time.
So
In the UK, you do not have cigar lounges. You have technically sampling areas or sampling rooms.
Exactly.
The cigar in the industry is promoted as an expensive, bespoke, artisan product that's historically imported into the UK from Cuba originally. Now you have other, of course, you have New World cigars, right? Yeah.
right.
And the way that government regulation is addressed in the UK is before you buy a box of an expensive box of cigars, you're allowed to sample a cigar, buy it, smoke it, and that's the rationale for sampling routes. Now, because government pressures, this wave of, I still think it's wokeism, by the way. I still think it's very paternalism is another form of wokeism. It's Big Brother telling you what to do
Right.
specifically, yeah, how to live your life. Okay, and it's there's no consistency in it because it changes every time government changes, right? Okay, so there's no real ethics. There's no underlying ethics to this. So Hunters about 6 months ago, 7 months ago, asked cigar merchants to get a certain sample of their cigar smoking audience to fill out these relatively simple forms. They're not
Right.
actually they're not too elaborate, they're not too simple. So for example, the form that I filled out, which Usman is referring to, I sent him the back of the form,
Right.
is a sort of a checklist. How do you think, what does the cigar look like to you, you know, without lighting it, without cutting it? How does it smell when you cut it? How does it draw? You know, what flavor notes do you get? What do you think it is, etc., etc., etc. So those are the forms that were put out, and what happened is on the blind tasting event, we all had to fill those forms out as part of the competition. So the that's the nature of those particular forms, and Usman has requested. I will absolutely get you one of those forms.
So that's the way they bypass the law. So Tom Tom's and number
No,
six
no, no one
Cavendish.
bypasses the law. There's no such thing as bypassing the law. Everyone behaves according to the law. Very
Okay, so
specific. That's the
so
whole point.
basically,
That's called conformity. So
right.
if
So
that's what the law
by
says, we
right.
will go according to that.
Right. So you bypass the law and call it a tasting room. And so number six and Tom Tom, they do the same thing. You fill out a form, you go. If you smoke one cigar you like it, you can buy the box. So that's how they get around the pussiness of the government.
You can say that, but you know, here in the UK, it's I'm sure in the USA, you see, what you guys in the USA, you kind of change your minds every 2 seconds, right?
No, that's the
Okay.
president of the United States. The American
Yeah,
people don't change their mind.
you guys have lost. If you ever had it, you guys have lost your reputability in the rest of the world. Basically it's
No kidding.
Mickey Mouse politics, and I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just that it's
Yes, you do.
evidently obvious that everyone just makes the rules up as they go along. Here in the UK, one of the things that's quite cool, or one of the things that used to be cool, is sort of like stability of regulation, right? So
Right, right.
rules change a little bit, right? But not a humongous amount, okay? And so for us cigar smokers here in London who have this privilege of, it is a bit of a privilege if you feel like it, yeah? We're smoking
Mhm.
Cubans all the time. We're
Yeah.
smoking them all the time because specifically certain industry stalwarts have really negotiated very, very hard with government to keep certain practices going when it was very easy for government to wipe this out.
Right.
So that is how that's running. I'm trying to make sense here, by the way.
Yeah, I got that. It didn't work, but it sounded good. So I keep saying to Donnie, when we meet, I go, Donnie, listen, I should be the Cuban cigar czar for America. And we're gonna see if we can make that happen. Only because then
Have you had any feedback in that regard?
I let's see, I was told I was number one by one of his staff members, and then something about go hide and go fuck yourself. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm thinking we're getting close. But I told my staff to go buy $1 billion worth of his Bitcoin. So now Donnie loves me. So all of a sudden he made another billion. Now I can become the Cuban cigar czar for America, which means Usman can't get Cubans anymore, which now my day is made. So I'm a happy guy.
Well, the thing is, you can only hope and think about it. It's never gonna
Yes,
happen, and we'll
I
always
know.
have plenty supply. So I'm perfectly fine.
Here's what's really funny. One day we're going to get a president with some IQ points. And I'm not talking like single or double digit. I mean, somebody with triple IQ that reads a book, that understands global history and geopolitics. And they're going to be, what the hell is there an embargo on Cuba for? And they're going to be like, we don't need an embargo on Cuba. And the cigars from Cuba will come to the United States. And then we in the United States will be able to legally enjoy Cuban cigars, which would be great because I would love to smoke Cuban cigars every day. But unfortunately, I have to smuggle them in with the Mexican immigrants through the border down south, and it's a tough thing. You know, sometimes they get caught, sometimes they
It's
don't.
actually, you know, in some ways, it's actually quite a good thing that you smoke Cubans infrequently.
Okay.
The upside is that, like a special treat, it
Hmm.
remains a special treat.
That's very true. Yeah.
Now, people who smoke Cubans regularly, they still have to search for that special treat, if you know what I
Right.
mean. Right?
Yep.
You still have to find a cigar. Like I mean, I won't say they're all samey, but you get used to it. You get used to a good thing, and it no longer has the value of a good thing. With
Correct.
you, because you come to it like once every few months or whatever,
Right.
it's a special occasion. It's a great occasion. You know, you
Yeah.
can perhaps you get more out of that cigar than people who smoke a cigar regularly, a Cuban cigar regularly.
And Cigarland says USA will supply Usman if there's a shortage because of the USA. So
Of
see, it
course.
was there you go. Of course, we're going to give you cigars. I mean, we're going to just take regular non-Cubans and put the Cuban ban on it for you. But don't worry about that; you'll be fine. But
The
no,
thing
it's
is,
I agree with that.
the thing is,
Yeah.
uh, that you are never going to get that embargo and all of those things because you already have cigars and companies making cigars with the same brand names. So the
But they're
day,
crap.
so yeah, I know the day this happens and the embargo goes off and Habanos get the legal permission to come in, the biggest threat is going to be to those companies and their brands. And they are never going to let it happen. So it's not only about the embargo anymore, it's about the
Right.
interest of all those big giants as well who are already making cigars with the same names.
Yeah, but see, here's where I disagree. I don't think I've given friends of mine Cuban cigars, like when we travel elsewhere, or even in the States when we have them. And what's amazing is some of them will smoke them and they're like, oh, so not everybody understands the history and or a Cuban cigar. So they'll
Agreed.
smoke. I pick on Rocky Patel because I think his stuff is crap. They'll
Yeah.
smoke a Patel and they'll be like, well, this is better than any Cuban. All right, well then. So I don't think if we allowed Cuban cigars in America, where you're going to have this big disruption, I think you'll have, if you will, Arnie Schwarzenegger, who Arnie called the other day, thinking about doing an interview with us live. We'll see. Anyway, I think you guys, you have like Arnold Schwarzenegger and real cigar aficionados. That will buy Cubans because it's going to be like, oh, thank God. But you're going to have the average person that's going to try it that doesn't really understand it, and they're going to be like, it's just a cigar. So I don't think it's going to disrupt anything. I think it actually will enhance the business overall, in my
Okay.
opinion, because I think it's going to be an A and a B.
Also,
Because people are going to have to try Cuban, I have to try nons, and they're going to go back and forth, and you're going to find, say, 50 or 60% that love Cuban, and you're going to find 50 or 60% that are going to stick with the New World because they don't really know the difference. So I don't think it's going to disrupt. I think it actually enhances and it will increase their bottom line because then cigar smoking now becomes in America, like we've talked about it. We do it because we love it. But I think in America, then if that happens, then it becomes more of a lifestyle, more of a look at me, look at the band I have on my cigar. I think that it becomes a different mentality here. That's my opinion. I could be totally wrong, but that's what I think would happen.
fair point.
Yeah, but
Fair
there's a
point.
significant aspect of this is price smoking.
Yeah.
Significant aspect of that,
Right.
right? Okay, so and also the other thing is culture changes quite slowly, right? Even if you introduce
Yeah.
Cuban cigars into the U.S. market, right? Of course, you're going to get fat cats and rich people smoking Cuban cigars and flexing, yeah. But the vast size of the market is actually the blue collar market.
Yeah.
They're not gonna necessarily jump into Cuban cigars straight away or for a
Right.
great volume either.
Yeah. Well, what's really funny is I know the
Trying to say
prices in
something
London.
serious and analytical there.
Well, that was awesome, and three people
Did
fell
I
asleep.
fail?
Yeah, well, kind of. Here's the funny thing. With the Cuban cigars, I know people in the military, like when they're outside the United States, that's all they smoke is Cubans. I know, like in London, the price of a cigar is crazy. Like we talked about, the sports series by Montecristo, and I know I could buy the what you paid for one stick. I can get the whole series for that same price from EGM's website. So it's very interesting. It really would depend on the price point here in America for Cubans, and if they tax it like idiots. Like I said, the CAO Brazilian, great, it comes from wherever. It's $5 or $6 a stick. If the Cubans are anywhere from $5 to $100 a stick, I think everyone will try them. Whether they like them is a different thing. It's a different palette. I think, you really have to know cigars. I have a friend when we travel for business to Dubai, I always buy him some Partagastes, and like, oh, I love them. They're great. So one day, as a joke, I gave him something else, and he'd go, I love it. It's great. And it wasn't a Partagasty. It was some New World thing that looked like it. So they just don't know. They're just excited that they think they have a Cuban. So I think there's a lot to do with that. And not everybody that smokes cigars wants to be educated. They just want to, I'm smoking a cigar. I'm cool. There's a big difference, I think. I could be wrong, but there you go.
Fair enough. I mean,
Yeah.
Ruben just wrote mostly the same thing. Ironic that everyone criticizes Cuban, but then again, it's the most sought after cigar, and I'm especially talking about the U.S., especially South Florida. So yeah. The Qasim is saying a gentleman called Stephen Nierkin wrote a thesis on what should happen if the embargo were ever to be lifted. He was even invited to Cuba to present his ideas to Habanos. Yeah, his idea is that 2 stores should be opened, one in New York and one in LA.
Forget LA. LA sucks. It's going to burn down to the ground. You open a store in New York, I agree with. You should probably open one in Miami. This way people can stop swimming to Cuba and swimming back. And then you probably should open a 3rd store in Las Vegas because, what happens in Vegas stays there. That's kind of what I would do. And Cigarland says
every time when I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So Urs says every time I was in the US, many wanted to exchange some New Worlds against one Cuban stick.
Yep. Yeah, I'll give you a box for one. But that's what I'm saying. I think the for the Cuban cigar industry, it's for the Americans that have never smoked one. It's that lure of, oh my God, it's a Cuban cigar. Okay. But once you start smoking them, and I've been very fortunate to smoke enough, I'm like, I like them. But it's I'm okay if I don't smoke it. I'm not going to go through withdrawals, but would I love to smoke a Cuban every day? That would be great. If they ever open it up, that would be awesome. It also becomes a price point thing. Will I spend $60 on a stick every time? Probably not. I'm a cheap Jew. I mean, that's why I joke about my CAO Brazilian Amazons. I get a box for what you guys pay for a stick, and it's a great smoke. So it's one of those things too.
You're a splendid human being.
Oh my God, jeez. Okay. Yeah, all right. This has got to go. I got to have the new one back.
I can't win. You'd be nice. You'd be nice. People have an issue. You'd be nasty. People have an issue. It's better to be nice.
Stephen, be careful. This Raza and sustainability are 2 different things completely.
Oh, yeah,
As I say, there will be slippages. There will be slippages. But the aim is to improve and go higher and beyond and be above it and smile at everyone.
And Kuzman says something which is very true. He says there should be a store.
I love you all. I'm filled with love right now.
Oh my God, I'm gonna get sick.
I'm having a feeling of ecstasy.
I got your feeling right here, pal. Anyway, Kuzman, and I got his name right, I think this time, says people want.
His name is
Kasim. Listen, dude, he's got to change his name, or he's got to spell it here phonetically for me. I don't know what to do. Anyway,
it's a beautiful name. He's probably
I like it. I just can't pronounce
it.
You're lucky I can pronounce my name. You're lucky I get my name right.
I think we should spread more love in this world.
I got your love right here. So, and can I tell you, when I travel abroad, especially in Vietnam, apparently I have a whole city with children named after me. So I spread my love enough. Anyway, Kuzman says that people want what they can't have, which is true. So I guess part of the other point is, what if there were Cubans available in America?
You know what you're doing? You're converting Qasim's name to Cushman. Because Cushman sits very comfortably with you, yeah?
That's because he's a Jew and he owns everything in New York.
I know. So Qasim, don't worry. I'm full of love.
Oh my God!
I'm on a new journey. I will pronounce your name for you, Qasim.
It depends how many minutes that's gonna last. But okay, fine. We'll make it till.
Well, that sounds like a challenge. I will make every effort to rise to your expectations.
And here's what's really funny about this whole thing: when we do the post after the show, when we close, when we say goodbye to the fans, it's just the 3 of us. The real Rizzo will be back. We'll just be laughing. So yeah, like I said, we had a phone call yesterday.
And finally, I am now happy for you to make jokes at my expense because I'm full of love.
Oh my God, this is Jesus.
Do I tell Raza? Do I tell this statement to a few other people as well?
You can tell it to the entire world.
The old Raza again.
You are the Usman as the broker of peace
Oh my
I
God.
empower you
Jesus
to
Christ.
make these grand judgments. I am your humble servant.
Here it comes. So hey, listen, now you're done
My
sipping the
cigar,
happy juice.
my cigar is amazing,
Yes, tell us
and
about your cigar.
that is exactly why I'm just letting him say whatever he's saying, because I
Yeah.
know it's not going to last for more than an
Usman,
hour in any case.
Usman,
Yeah.
I
Yes,
love you, man.
I love you
Oh,
too, my
here.
brother.
Really?
Again,
Yeah.
Steven,
And it's
I
only
clarified
it's
you guys.
only it's only when you've achieved this level of humanity
Of
Okay.
that
Nirvana. Of
you
Nirvana.
accede to everyone's wishes.
Oh my
Right.
God. So the cigar fans that now have their
Welcome to the new
revolvers near their
me.
head. Yeah, we're okay. We'll see what happens next week. Or in
You
or in
never
20
know.
minutes.
You never know in 60 seconds. What are you talking about, Steven?
I know. I was just gonna say,
It's just a trigger moment that's going to happen to him, and he's going to be the usual Raza again.
Cigar Land is cute, and they go, and who is loving Steven? Every Asian hooker I can find. Thank you. Anyway, and my scotch and cigars. No, but that's it's just an interesting thing. But going back to the Cubans in America, and I'm not talking the people that swam the 90 miles. But I do think, to the point that was made, I think if they were here, it would be, and I'll use one of Riz's favorite analogies, it'd be like if everyone could go and get a Ferrari, like the new V12 that's out. If everybody could buy one, it wouldn't be special anymore. If everybody can get one, it's more special. So maybe
When you
that's
say the
part of the
new
mystique.
Ferrari, you mean the Dodici Cilindri.
Yes, the one that if you can't say that, you can't buy it because it's
I
a
just did it.
V12
I
and
just
she
did
changed
it.
the means. I know,
Dodici
very proud of
Cilindri.
you. Did you
You
put your
are
name down for one?
you are a protege of Christian for like every single day. So if you don't speak Italian right, you should be
Mm,
expelled from Tom Tom in any case.
Well,
that's
So
right.
coming
just to
back
spread the
to
love, it means if I don't speak Italian correctly.
Yes.
the cigar, it is a
Yeah.
Magnum
How's your
50.
Bolivar? We
The-
Very woody,
what's your,
very
it's very
woody.
woody. Okay.
Reven, have a look. Have a look. This is the chap in the statue next to Belgrave Square, Simon Bolívar. I think that's what you were referencing. Sorry, burping. When we were going for our walk from
Yeah.
Belgravia to Mayfair, from
Right.
Tom Tom to number 6, which is basically a sort of a pilgrimage. Tom Tom to number 6, number 6 to Tom Tom, Tom Tom to number
All
6,
right.
number 6 to Tom Tom.
Oh my
Not
God.
that you're dropping any names or anything.
What my aim is now is in this new space of love and harmony. I don't know. Is that Usman showing me the finger or a cigar? I can't see.
I'm showing you the cigar here. Let
I'm
me do a
actually
close up of
showing
that. Sorry about
you
that.
the beautiful construction of the cigar, and
Oh,
every
the
time I
conical,
say
the
it,
conical, the
the
conical,
conical,
the Lejero
exactly.
right down the middle, right down the middle.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I've been telling you.
And by the way, just so
Wonderful.
you know, Abdullah has been listening to the show while he's been driving home. I'm assuming he was driving, so you don't drive and drink. And he
I
says he's
before
thoroughly enjoying is enjoying the show. You see, you gotta love
Why?
our fans.
Why? There's nothing here, but
Raza kept
love.
repeating that I was so lucky to have met Osman. Oh my God.
Oh, so is
Ruben,
the detector.
He was under the influence of I don't know, God knows what. So please
Yeah, God
ignore
knows
it.
that. That's right. He had too many of those ginger beers with the blood of little children in
No,
them
no,
that he
no,
was
no.
Yeah.
drinking.
The new Reza
Desperados.
had already
Even
started by then
the new Raza would have been under the
because
influence of Desperados.
The struggles, yeah,
no,
the struggle is
I
real.
think that's an unfair statement. That means that I cannot make my own decisions. I'm
Uh-huh.
within my senses. I have chosen to be more loving, more caring, and more complimentary of my fellow man. Usman finds
Wow.
that frustrating, but it is Usman who's set me on this journey.
Can I just be the prick that I always am because I can't really change? I've
I
been this
don't
way a
think
billion years.
I don't think I think you're above that, Stephen.
Thank you very little.
I think if you take a leaf from Usman's book, be above
Yes.
it.
No, I don't want to. I don't. I want to be.
Rise
I'm a New
above it.
York. I want to be a New Yorker. I want to be in the thick of it, and I want to tell everybody
You're a Jew
exactly how I
Yorker.
feel.
You're not a New
I'm a
Yorker,
Jew
you're a
Yorker.
Jew
A
Yorker.
Jew Yorker. And Ruben, Jewish Puerto Rican guy, you can try to hide it, but we're outing you anyway. We love the Ruben. So there you go.
Ruben's already, you know what? He's probably already checking into a flight to go in your direction. He's that
Hey,
much
I'm
in
sure he'll
charge.
be in. I'll be getting a call tomorrow. He'll be like, Steven, I'm in Austin. We're going to smoke
For
cigars.
two
I'll be like,
days.
on my way. Yeah. So, well, Ruben seems to just fly all over to meet everybody on the show. He met Usman. He's met you. What am I? Chop liver? No,
I think you are.
grandmother would say.
As
Yeah,
a New
apparently.
York Jew, you are chopped liver.
I see that, and that's why Cigar Land said, "And who's loving Steven?" So I agree with him. Who's loving me?
Oh, everyone
No,
loves
I'm just kidding.
Stephen. Everyone
That's
loves
true.
Stephen.
What's not to
Everyone
love with
loves
my
Stephen.
Doctor Evil
What's
jacket?
not to- That's
So
right.
there you go. So,
Dr.
gentlemen,
Eben, yeah.
you're
Go on.
good. No, no.
Sorry, no, hope I hadn't disturbed you. Please carry on.
Oh my God! Please, this is too much. So now you spent 2 days with Ruben, and all you did was smoke cigars. Did you do anything else with him, or is that it?
Well, no, I did not have the privilege of spending 2 days with
Ah,
Reven.
okay.
We had a nice evening smoke, and then he
Mm,
carried on to his next appointment.
stop.
But what a splendid fellow, splendid.
Very nice. Well, I know Usman was waxing lyrical about him when he flew to Havana, all 32 minutes of that flight. Yeah, big deal. But
Mm.
when you fly 8 hours from Miami to London just to sit with one of our cast members, our
Oh yes.
RNA, our talent, that's a special thing. That's special. There you go. So we apply. I'm not sure why all the fans just don't fly to London to have a cigar with Rizza.
They're more than welcome. I will greet them in the same spirit that I've espoused today.
Oh my God, they'll be bored in their mind. So, but that's fine. I'm glad you've got a new leaf going on. Hopefully, you'll watch them call it. So next week, fans, what I was going to say is there are going to be two Habana histories. I don't know if it's the same cigar or different, but Ruben, they got me on Ruben. Rizza's going to do one, and Usman's going to do one, and the fans are going to
What? You
vote.
just made your own decision there. You just Rez is going to do a Habanos history. Oh, so I'm
No,
sorry.
we
Yes,
discussed
of
this
course
an
I will.
hour ago. So yeah, we're going
Yes,
to do that.
of
Yeah,
course.
they're both
I'm
going to do
sorry.
Habano history and
Sorry,
see which the
the
fans
the
like. We're
old
going to have
Reza
them
kid
vote.
out there. I will
I
make
see
them
that.
vote.
Oh my God. I like
Yeah.
the other Rizzo. So anything else you want to say to the fans before we
I am
decide we're
I'm
going to
I'm
go?
I'm actually worried what's gonna happen when the actual Raza comes, because
Hmm.
seeing this Raza dead is going to like completely just make me go out of my mind. I mean, seeing this Raza
Yeah.
is
Well, sometimes you have
somewhat
to be very
nice, but the
careful
only
what you
problem
wish
is,
for. And
That's what I
if
was
you
going to say.
wish,
You're the one who brought this upon us. So you.
it's Usman's lead I am taking. The compliment that I could have got is I'm significantly older than Usman, and yet I have decided to learn from my younger brother, which is the most beautiful thing you can do in life. He's my
God.
younger brother. If he
So
says
sad.
something to me, I take his advice. I'm
Uh-huh.
not the asshole I used to be.
Well, I wish you would go back to the asshole you used to be. So,
Raza, don't worry, Steven, don't worry. That's the default settings. The
I was
moment
going
it,
to say,
the
yeah.
moment it reboots, it'll be on the default settings again.
I'm finding that Usman is a little tricky to please. You can't have it this way. You can't have
Right.
it that way. Be careful what you wish for,
All
Usman.
right, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
And
You
and
have
by the
got it.
way, and Ruben is going to be at La Habana at 12:20 this afternoon. I'm assuming he's in
Fucking
Cuba then.
hell.
Yeah. Is he in
Oh,
Cuba?
He's going to be in Cuba. Yes, La Habana means he's
Idiot.
going to Cuba.
He's going to Cuba. Ruben, I didn't see my plane ticket. That's all I can say. Anyway, that's very cool. Well, Ruben, enjoy yourself in Havana today.
Here's
Absolutely,
here's a
absolutely.
suggestion. Here's a suggestion for the brotherly love aspect.
Mm.
Stephen, why don't you jump on a plane and go and see Ruben or
Well,
whatever?
he's going to be in Cuban right now, so I have to fly to Miami
No,
when he comes back.
when he's back at some
When he's back,
stage, why don't you do
sure.
a tie-up, sort of
Whoa, whoa,
an
whoa, whoa.
informal
That's
get
Hilga's
together?
House of Pain. We only do types of Hilga's House of Pain, but I could get on a plane and go see him. That's different. So, but I'm here till Thursday. Tip your wait staff. So that's very cool. Well, Ruben, send pictures because we'd love to see you at the La Habana. Um,
Yeah,
so
that's
that's
actually
very,
nice. That's very
yeah,
nice. In
yeah.
the
I'm
spirit
glad.
of niceness.
Yeah, calm down there, big guy. So now what's really funny is next week we'll probably get AI Rizza, who's talking about the leaves are overpriced and all the other stuff. And then after, like I said, after the
I
show, we'll get
no,
real Rizza.
I believe they're priced correctly to the market. The price finds its own stable market, and that is the price.
There. Oh my
Actually
God.
quite. I'm I'm actually quite happy and satisfied with the price.
Really? Do you want me to pull out the other videos where you talk how they're overpriced leaves and they're
This was a
crazy
different
and
time, a different place. Perhaps I was not in the right
3 weeks
frame
ago?
of mind.
Okay, can you go back to that frame of mind? Because the fans enjoy that frame
Post
of
them as
mind.
shorts. Post them as shorts. Post them as videos. Post
We
them as
have, and can I tell you, those shorts get thousands and thousands of views. So, and last week's shorts did very well as well. This week's shorts will do well. So, and I think next week's Habano History Battle will do well. So I'm excited.
Interesting.
It's not battle. I'm just going to add a comment. If you want me to add a comment, I'll add a comment. What the fuck do I? Sorry. What do I know about history?
Steven,
I know nothing.
Yeah.
as the time is coming close, the default
No,
setting.
so no, that was just
Yeah.
that was just words. That was not
They're just
sentiments. It was
slipping.
just words.
And for
Slippage of
all
words.
of you that love RZA and want to see the old RZA, because you know he'll be back on Tuesday on Sermon on the German live on our channel. We will be talking about UFOs because I have a degree in physics and brown car guy and Vicky in real life like to go off on a tangent on these topics. So that will be an interesting show. RZA will be smoking cigars, and I'm sure he will have the
I think it'll
respect.
be a lovely show, full of
There we
wonderful
go.
sentiments,
Oh my God.
constructive dialogue.
Okay. Hmm.
I see both of you having significant issues with this new
I'm not
approach
the
to
one who
life.
I'm not the one who called you up that told you to be a pansy. So no, I
No
need
one
my I
did.
need
No one did this. No one did
I
this.
didn't.
No one did this.
Stephen, trust me, I didn't call him this. I
You
only
didn't.
said
You didn't.
let.
No.
I only said live and let the word live as well. Live and let live.
And I'm going by that. I have learned something from my younger brother. I will
yeah.
allow that. And so let be no doubt. Here it is, digitally on the air. I have learned something from my younger brother,
Uh-huh.
and I love him and adore him, and I will do as he
There
says.
we go. Really? Huh. That's not what you said
I've
yesterday. But
said
anyway,
it.
okay. Anyway, that's very nice. I'm glad.
What more do you want?
Well, we like the old
Lost for
RZA.
words. Lost for
Yeah,
words. Lost for words.
there's many words. I'm just trying to make sure I put them in the right context of what I would like. No, listen, this is very nice that you did your 1 day of niceness. And now your parole officer will let you go and run free. So now you can go back to being yourself and you're fine. And I don't think when Osman said he wanted you to be nice to people, he meant to this extent, probably. I think he just meant don't push little old ladies in front of buses. You know, don't drink the blood of the 3-year-olds in your ginger beer. I think that's what he was referring to. Probably not this.
And don't call out leeches. Leeches.
So there you have it. I think that was more it.
Yeah.
But other than that, we this is an interesting show with the new
This
RZA.
crocodile will disappear down below the water
Oh
again.
my, no, yeah, I was going to say, and then we'll get you back. Thank God. So,
Gently,
yeah,
gently under the water again.
he's killing me. So okay, I go. Wow. Ay 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 ay
Steven,
ay. Okay, yeah.
can you please throw some meat? He comes out.
I know, right? We gotta throw some meat, and then says the real RZA will be back
I
next week.
was a meat eater, but I've now turned vegetarian.
So you're a pussy. We got it. I understand that. Let's hope that you become the meat eater again.
Given my new philosophy, I cannot react back.
Oh, this is too much fun. Yeah, but like I said, once we do the post show, you'll be reacting. So I'm not worried about that. So we're all good. So, but ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. For the people that are going to watch the rebroadcast later,
Thank you.
and, and for the people that are going to watch the rebroadcast later, sorry you couldn't join the live show. We will be live next Saturday at 1 p.m. London time, apparently 5 p.m. Pakistani time. 8 a.m. New York time. So if you
Whatever
are
time
around,
suits you, I will make myself available.
Oh my
God, this is killing me.
Whatever
Oh my
time,
God.
if it's
Kill me,
3
kill
o'clock in the
me.
morning, I will attend.
Okay, I'm gonna remember that.
Steven, there's an expression in Pakistan. There was a
Yes.
video short that went live a few years ago and has become a sensation. In
Thank
which,
you. Thank you.
in
I
which
see something else.
the guy says, "Oh, bhai, mujhe maro," which means come and hit me, because he's in
Yeah.
disbelief. So this
Yes.
is the exact situation right now.
And listen,
We do not know. Let me be very thoughtful about this. We do not know the significance of our words and the impact that they have on others. In this case, they've had positive impact.
Let's hope not. I don't know what show you're on, but that's not this show. So
You may have to do a brand new show of
the Pussy Show. Be like,
Huh?
hi, I'm a pussy and I love everything because I am woke. Yeah, no, we don't do that show. We do a man show, but for men that smoke cigars and women that smoke cigars that are like men, like, that can kick butt and take names. We don't do a show for little wimpy people. We do a show for people, real people, not the woke crowd. We're not woke. We're unwoke. We say what's on our mind,
I
and
think
that's
that's
it.
unfair. I feel that every person has a place. Everyone
I
should
don't
be
think
heard
so.
out.
No, they have no
Everyone.
place. They have no place. Either you're woke, if you have no place, and if you're not woke, you're on our side. That's it. That's that simple. It's just like the president of the United States. He has no place anymore. We got these 39% approval rating. Bye bye. Go. New president. There you go. Just saying. I'm just trying to help out.
And you've done so really well.
I know that. Thank you. And Kuzman and whatever his name is, the guy who I pronounce Uzman, and I can't say his name right. Awesome. Thank you. And he says it was a great show. Cigarland says instrument of love. Yes. And I've been accused of that many times. Thank you so much. I think he's referring to Riza. Guys, we hope you enjoyed the show. The real Riza, we're going to release his family, though. He'll be back next week because he'll be reunited with the family. And Ruben, even though however you pronounce your name now, because now apparently you're not a Puerto Rican. Thank you, because you're a Puerto Rican Jew. Have fun in and La Habana this afternoon. And I'm a Landsman as well, so I'm the only one on the show can actually say that. And thank you for everybody for watching. Don't forget to tell your friends to subscribe and like. We will be back next Saturday.
I don't have any. I don't have any.
You don't have any
friends.
what?
Friends.
Oh God, here we go.
Maybe with this new attitude, I may get one or two.
Let's hope not. So there's a whole bunch of guys in San Francisco that just want to just snuggle with you and give you big hugs and kisses. So there you go. Everybody, have a wonderful day. To my two brothers, love you both. Remember, don't hang up. And we will see everybody next week. And
can I give you a thought as you're leaving?
Oh, please give me a thought. I can't wait.
Take care of yourselves and each other.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And let me give you a final thought from the New Yorker perspective. Please, everyone, go play my favorite game. Go hide and go fuck yourself. Have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
This was fun.